Welcome back, everyone, to the North American Regional Qualifier. The crowd is fired up and ready for some League of Legends. So let's jump into Game 1 of today's series, Team Liquid versus Cloud9. There's a lot of pressure on Team Liquid, who thought they had a spot at Worlds in the bag after their third-place win at Madison Square Garden, and now they just bring on confidence with that.
Yeah, and Team Liquid have never made it to Worlds, and they've never made it as a group, and they want to test their mettle on the international stage. So Piglet, he's the only guy who's been there and been all the way to the finals. We have seen Xpecial make it to Worlds before as well, but Piglet's been very candid about the fact that he wants to get back there on his own accolade.
Yeah, every Korean that goes outside of Korea to play wants to prove themselves and show that they haven't, their skill has not degraded in the new region that they're playing in. This would be huge for Piglet.
Yeah, and I do have to make a little bit of a correction here from earlier in the broadcast. Peter has not actually been to Worlds because of the LMQ ownership dispute. He was actually taken off at the end, but he has coached a team to get to Worlds before. But still, this would be big for Peter as well to actually go there and have this team in his side.
Right, and even with their 2 losses, this matchup has favored Cloud9. They are 11-2 against Team Liquid in playoffs, and they have never dropped a series to them. Cloud9 are on a roll right now, but even they would probably admit they're the underdogs this time around.
Yeah, I mean, even though we've got great historical stats for previous playoffs, obviously this has been the worst season for Cloud9. They've had the huge drop-off. They definitely know they're underdogs, but they have to be excited about having gone through 2 reverse sweeps and actually come out on top just to even get to this point. Plus, they do have some things going in their favor. As I mentioned before, Team Liquid, they're late game. Sometimes they're team fighting. There are holes as far as finishing out the game. They don't really finish out games very quickly. Even when they do get a lead, they kind of take a while. So there may be an opening for Cloud9 there. Plus, I have to say that in the event of Cloud9 falling behind, I mean, they have been able to come back so many times. They have the mental fortitude. They've proven that over and over. Plus, Hai, at least he's got the unpredictability factor going for him on the jungle. He's tried so many different things. It's really hard to track him. He actually got some really good counter ganks as well. So Hai in the jungle could be a surprise factor for them.
Yeah, and you're talking about reverse sweeps being actually a momentum coming into series, because you wouldn't think that when you're like, oh, they almost lost the entire series 3 times. But the way that teams usually approach it is, we were down 2-0, we banded together as a team, we used our teamwork, and then we just 3-0'd them from there. So people are actually coming in with a ton of momentum, even though you wouldn't think it.
Yeah, plus I have to say that it's kind of good that Cloud9 got to play a bunch of best-of-5s versus maybe some quote-unquote weaker teams, because now they've discovered, oh, Amumu, not that great, our Karma pick, we maybe go with a light touch on that one. So some of the things they've gone through trial and error on what they thought was good. Elimination talked about it on the desk. He was like, you know what? I really thought this was going to work. Turns out it did not work. Thanks for my team for carrying me through. Now they'll go in versus Team Liquid feeling a bit more confident in the things that they've actually progressed to.
Even when they went back to run those compositions as well, you can see it yesterday. They lost by 3K at 15 minutes, then about 1K, and then in the third game, they actually surged to a 28-minute win and had their first lead at 15 minutes. So even when we see Cloud9 running those compositions that aren't working for them, they're figuring out how to still use what doesn't work, so they go into the next games with good momentum.
Yeah. By the way, I still want to say Amumu's great, and they should definitely use Amumu again. Best champion ever.
Yeah, people were like, why isn't Kobe here on Friday or Saturday? It's like, Kobe's the one playing Amumu.
I was talking
He's
to
giving him the coaching.
I was talking to Hai yesterday, gave him some Amumu tips. He didn't want to use it again, though.
Half mana when you jump in. No, for tip number 1. But aside from Hai, on the other side of the rift, though, we do have Dominate. And Dominate's a very flexible player, and contrary to what Hai has been doing. So Dominate's very versatile. He can be aggressive. He can play almost like Rush's style. And he can have the counter jungling. He can have the heavy farm style, too. So Dominate's a guy that you have to be careful. What is he going to play this game?
Yeah, I'd say he's probably the second best early game jungler in the North American LCS.
Yeah, and Cloud9, they're slow to adapt. So if he throws something at them, they're going to have to adapt mid-game and mid-series as well. But, we saw them shake off the Soraka, and then they were like, all right, let's ban that. So they get 2 tries. They get 2 tries, and they've used the most of their 2 tries in the last best-of-5s. But the other danger for Cloud9 is that they aren't making their own advantages. They aren't having these early game.
Yesterday, they would only kind of catapult off a mistake that would be made early game.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is they don't have Hai playing super early aggressive junglers. He's played Elise a little bit, but when he goes for the farm style, they're creating their advantages in the mid-game off of capitalization.
Yeah, I feel like they have been able to create some advantages, but then they've made mistakes across the map that kind of nullify the early effect of it.
Yeah.
Seeing what happened with High on the Gragas, he actually didn't catapult that too much into his favor. And I feel like that could hurt him against Dominate, because Dominate's one of the junglers that can adapt. He can play defensive, or if he knows that High got 2 kills in the early game, he also knows how to pressure that. So I feel like High might have a little bit of trouble in this matchup coming into today.
Yeah,
in that aspect.
Yeah, it really depends on what Dominate's going to do, because High doesn't really know the jungle routes as much. You were talking about it earlier. It's like, where is he going to be? He's unpredictable, because you're thinking, well, he shouldn't be there right now. He should be on the other side of the map. So Dom really knows his jungle routes. We'll see what he did.
It's one of the things though that I want to say. High actually did a pretty good job in some of the games. He actually was able to get a level 1 counter jungle on Rush, and he had the better jungle route. He had the better early start. It's just that the team didn't quite play with his placing. Plus, as I said, he had multiple counter ganks that were successful. So he definitely has a few tricks up his sleeves.
I do want to take a look at the bot lane and get your opinion on Piglet being used with the Vayne, the Twitch lately as well, more of a carry position on him, along with Sneaky trying to use that Ashe. How do you think that match is going to go? And did Sneaky do that again? Because he says, I like to play the Ashe, and he was almost coming up on kills. The Shen Soraka was giving him a lot of trouble there, but what do you guys think?
It's not the Ashe pick by itself. It's the situation in which you're picking the Ashe and what your composition does and what theirs is going to do, because they're playing against global pressure. People were going to prioritize bottom lane. So you pick it for the situation. You don't just pick it because you like Ashe. So that's my take on it.
Okay.
Right there.
What Sneaky doesn't like is getting 4-man dove in the bottom lane at like 4 minutes. That's what he doesn't like.
Yeah.
All right, well, it looks like we are ready. We're going to go ahead and send it up to the casters to get us into the action.
Thank you very much, Riv. This is going to be great. We've got the audience behind us, and to my left, we've got Jat here. We've got a great series right in our sights as well. So let's get a quick look at the starting lineups. On the blue side is Team Liquid. Quas up at the top lane. I will dominate in the jungle. Phoenix in mid. Piglet and AD carry special on support with Coach Peter looking for his second time sending a team to Worlds.
Absolutely. On the red side, we have Cloud9. Balls in the top lane. High in the jungle. What's he going to play today? Nobody really knows. Incarnation in the mid lane. Sneak on AD carry. Lemonation on support. And Bubba is the coach.
He is the coach, and it's been an interesting
Even though
thing. Watching the
he
dynamics
is-
between him and Lemon.
Yeah, he's the least vocal coach in the LCS, I have to say, like by far. In the game they had against Gravity, it didn't seem like he was saying a single word on stage.
Yeah.
But in the post-game interview yesterday, Lemonation said Bubba Dub has been right about a lot of things, and I've been wrong, Lemonation speaking about himself. So maybe we see a little bit more vocality out of Bubba Dub today in Champ Select.
I didn't know vocality was a word.
It might not be.
I think it is. I think you're right about this, Jat. But we are in a champion select. The words don't matter. The champions do. Rumble banned away from balls right off the bat. He had some game-winning ultimates in the series yesterday. Piglet will not
They
get
banned
the list,
Karma?
and they banned Lemon's Karma. I think this makes sense. Karma is a very strong laner. Team Liquid relies
He's
on
laughing
Piglet
about it.
and
Lemon is
Xpecial.
laughing about
I
that
mean,
Karma ban.
I think I understand the thought process. I can defend it. If Liquid get their bot lane to win, the Karma ban does help, especially if they take Braum away first pick.
It's
Azir's
true.
banned, Kallista's gone. What else do you even first pick here?
Yeah, I mean, it's true that you want to ban Karma. We'll get to the first pick in a little bit. Gangplank ban is interesting. Quas probably been practicing that a fair bit. Only because Lemon, A, he's the only person to really play Karma, but B, they've had such a small amount of success on it. I think the only Karma game they actually won was Game 5 yesterday. There
Some regular season games like way back when.
Yeah, at least in the last two series.
In the last like 2 months.
It has not really been that effective for them.
All right, well, here we are, the last day of August, the last games of the split for one of these teams here. First pick definitely comes through for Team Liquid after that Gangplank ban. The Maokai and Braum does come through, so Elimination got pinched onto the Braum right away.
Oh, shucks, I have to play the best of the game.
You're
What
right.
a terrible ban.
You're
phase.
absolutely right. And Lulu, Vayne come right through, so already Team Liquid saying, you know, he's going to carry us, Piglet's going to carry us.
So, yeah, all the Karma Braum stuff aside, Team Liquid has some incredibly powerful and potent picks here in the draft phase. The Nidalee is being, well, incredibly powerful and often banned and one of Dominate's most successful champions when he's gotten to play it. It is somewhat weak against tanks, so you could say it's counted against tanks. However, the Lulu Vayne combination is absolutely devastating, especially in the LCK finals and LPL finals. Lulu has either been first pick, always blue side, or always banned red side. Like, it's been that important.
Oh, baby! We got Draven, Sneaky, one of the original Dravens from like 3 to 4 years ago. He's bringing it back out here. Interesting.
Yeah.
I get to pick 3 tanks and Draven so far as the comp for Cloud9.
Holy moly.
All right.
Yeah, So
All right.
Draven is good into Vayne. Vayne tumbles around, and Draven just throws a giant axe in Vayne's face, and Draven will win that damage trade most of the time. So not a bad pick by any sense, but there's a certain amount of hysteria that I have just talking about Cloud9 making this run, because like literally 2 reverse sweeps with random champions. What are they going to do next? It's Draven is one. Now what's High going to do? Play
Gragas?
Teemo? Like, what's going to happen?
I mean, High's playing Gragas, but
yeah.
he did play
Is it
Teemo
Incarnation
against TSM.
Gragas? No, it's probably High.
Back at Season 3, AP Gragas is returning here.
Yeah.
No, not quite the case here. So Team Liquid rounds out their compositions. Lulu does go mid lane. It's top Nautilus with support Alistar. So 2 of the biggest tanks you could possibly get in these 2 roles to supplement the kind of double support plus Vayne. It's a lot of weight on Piglet's shoulders, but Phoenix and Dom will have some aggressive moves to make. Cloud9 big tank while Draven is their only damage so far. The question is, what will supplement? Victor is up, Orianna's up.
Yeah. Yasuo has been successful, although you don't want to pick too much physical damage against it. Orianna is the pick here. Works tremendously well with tank compositions. A great enabler of tanks. So really, aside from the Draven, a very standard tank team composition from Cloud9 against a very tanky composition that has a tank shredder in Vayne. So
Yeah.
we're going to see some very beefy team fights in this match, most likely.
It's going to be a fun one to watch for. And also the question is, how well can both of these teams get onto that backline to carry the one doing almost all of the damage? Sneaky doesn't really have ways of getting away. He said he didn't like Ashe because of all the diving. Well, these aren't exactly penetrating tanks. Yes, Nautilus can ult, but who exactly does damage afterwards? It's not like there's Lee Sin running around here.
Yeah, so many of the games that are coming down to team fights, at least in the last few patches, have really been about who can shred the opponent's tank line faster, or who can bypass the tank line and then kill the squishies. That's really what most team composition battles have been won or lost over, since there's been a diminished emphasis on split pushing in a lot of matches. So here, that's going to be the main thing we want to play out, since neither of the teams' dives, so to speak, is that strong.
This is going to be interesting to watch then. The big front lines are there, and the DPS check is going to be what we're going to look at. The coaches shake hands. We get ourselves ready for game 1 here. This best of 5 determines who goes to Worlds. So you guys at home, let us know who's going to grab that spot. Tweet at LOL Esports with your picks. Hashtag TL win. Hashtag C9 win. Let us know. Counterlogic Gaming's going. TSM is going. Who's that third team from North America?
Yeah, and it's going to be such a difficult road for either one of these teams, really. Like, not only for Cloud9 or Team Liquid do they have to make it all the way through this regional qualifier, which we've been calling the Gauntlet. They also have to deal with this pause that we have at the very start of the game. But more so, they're put into Pool 3 at the World Championship. So if you guys have been watching the stream for the past hour, you got to see Quickshot detailing the way the groups are laid out within the World Championship. But basically, teams in Pool 3 are automatically put against what is most likely the hardest competition, because they...
No IWC teams in your group.
Yep, guaranteed. No,
like
no EU3 team in your group, even though Origin's going to be pretty strong.
Yeah, and you're from NA, so you have to pull from either LGD, SKT, or Fnatic. All 3 are definitely exceptional teams. Like, one of those 3 will be in the group of whichever team wins here.
It's going to be tricky.
It will be tricky. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun to watch as well. There's other more things you can deduce as you go through the second seeds and whatnot. But yeah, it's of course a difficult run. We've heard actually these teams, both of them talk about the fact that, you know, if we didn't win the regional, we didn't deserve to go to Worlds. And if you can't win wins a group stage, well, you don't deserve to win Worlds. And so these guys are all kind of aware that, like, hard groups or not, if they win, they deserve it. If they lose, they deserve it.
Yeah, and it's one thing, it's one of the reasons I like the regional qualifier format here. Spring Split obviously has a little bit of importance on it, but mainly this process of playing a best of 5 directly against the team who would be going to Worlds, it makes it very cut and dry.
Yeah.
Right? Did I beat this team in a best of 5? All right. I get to go. Like, even Team Impulse, after their game against Cloud9 yesterday, I kind of thought, like, man, Cloud9 really shouldn't have won that series, was my initial feeling. But then I remembered, it's like,
but they did.
Well, they won the series, so clearly they deserve to win that series. Just because the games were close doesn't discredit their victory whatsoever.
Absolutely.
So Cloud9 has been able to pull through, and if they somehow do make it through this entire thing, it would be incredibly well-deserved.
They would have deserved it if it was the case. We saw actually some stats up there. They had more deaths than kills in their series yesterday. But we are onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 is afoot. And Team Liquid doing battle with Cloud9 for the last spot at the World Championship from North America. It's going to be starting over in Paris in October, and it's going to be a whole bunch of fun to be a part of. We can see right now Battle lines drawn across the rift. Defensive wards for most of these teams.
Yeah, and I mean, Team Liquid has a really low damage team composition. Traditionally, Team Liquid has been an incredibly potent team when running Lulu, but that's generally been with Quas running Lulu, Phoenix on a secondary damage dealer, and then Piglet on a strong carry. Actually, it's usually been a Lucian or Kog'Maw when they've been running these, so it's a Juggernaut or just a really hard-hitting Lucian.
But when they picked Nidalee in the second round, actually, no, they first picked the Sar. There's really no chance of running mono tank teams. It's just so hard to run. So
exactly.
Yeah, Lulu was assumed mid as soon as they picked the Nidalee alongside it. And now Team Liquid. C9 just doing a bit of battle, spotting out where their wards are going to be. Phoenix wanted to stop the standard sapling start for the mid laner. That won't happen, though, it looks like. He's actually still winning around. Maybe he tries.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a tweaked level 1 for Cloud9. Instead of direct deep wards for lane swap invade into the enemy jungle, they delayed invaded and then didn't even get deep lane wards. So they really just covered the Team Liquid side, basically putting a ward on all 3 camps so they know, or they can kind of surmise what's going to be happening by seeing that there's a duo lane taking this camp and also having a ward on red buff. They can then guess that Nidalee and Nautilus are doing the double jungle starting on the Grom side. Because we've actually seen a few starts where teams will put 4 people in the same jungle quadrant, take Krugs while taking red buff. So, you know, Cloud9 does actually win the knowledge war a little bit based off this.
Alright, so even though the starts are exactly mirrored, C9 knows more, as you're mentioning. Jat, Piglet, gonna see how well he can trade up against Draven. He gets 2 stacks of Silver Bolts, and then C9, Elimination gave him the true damage there, so the early trade's going well, and of course Team Liquid will have more heals on their side thanks to Alistair. But level 2 first for C9, they clear minions faster, and Piglet loses 80 health there.
Yeah, big, powerful, sneaky. He is such a tremendous Draven player.
He's really good at it.
He pretty much always keeps the 2 axes active and juggling. So he builds up a tremendous amount of adoration stacks very early on in the game. And a lot of this match will swing on, whether or not Sneaky can get to 100 or so CS without dropping a single axe and then actually transform that kill. Because if Draven gets a Bloodthirster before Piglet gets any type of atomization, he can completely shut Piglet out of that lane phase.
Now the question is, though, there's always the scary chance of the ganks. Draven is like a gank magnet, right? Get rid of the adoration, kill him off, lower the passive, and Alistair Flash pulverize into Nidalee is a lot of pain to come through.
It can be pretty devastating.
Lemon can block a lot of it. I mean, Brahm's a good support for this. Dominate, red buff slow into Inclination, no chance to dodge. He does not want to jump into turret range, and Dom will get very little damage done here.
Yeah, although, even with that, he provides a little bit of presence for Phoenix against Inclination. High is honestly wasted a little bit of time when he rewarded the red buff that Dominate had just cleared. It's been something really fun. Yeah, something really fun about watching High jungle these past few days in these best of 5s. Is he very clearly is just doing whatever he wants, right? Which sometimes just looks awful because he'll go face check someone who never should have been there. He doesn't have the learned habits of all these competitive professional junglers who have been doing it for years, since he really just picked this role up like 3 or 4 months ago.
Right.
So sometimes that bites him. Very often it bites him, but every once in a while he'll be doing this move that is like so inefficient and would never be done by a normal professional jungler that it actually works.
Right, because you bet against that ever happening to you, and you take a risk that normally wouldn't be a risk.
Like yesterday, he ganked mid as Elise with only Q and W and got a kill and both summoners. Like, it just didn't make any sense. Now he's doing a level 3 gank when he's clearly behind, going for it.
But he's going to knock around his special. Oh, he flashes just in time to get away from the body slam, and the kill will not come through. Now Sneaky's got to be careful. Elimination tanks the Javelin, will Dominate chase through. Silverbolt's not triggered, and Team Liquid will back out.
Yeah, that time, X-Special did not want to play the game of chicken that so often happens when you're Gragas. Whenever Gragas has his flash, his gank presence is absolutely crazy, and it's so easy for him to generate kills with Body Slam Flash. This time, obviously, X-Special thought he was going to go for the Body Slam Flash, preemptively flashed it away, and then High also burned his flash. So great job there by X-Special to burn his flash so early, because it also got the flash off of High and prevented the gank from having success.
Very smart prediction. Now, the top lane matchup is going very slightly in the way of Quas. He just recently hit a very good hook that pulled balls back into the minion line. Bot lane actually going close. Oh, Dom stole the big one. The ward he just put down. Steal. Nope, didn't get the last little mini, but That does mean a gold disparity. The junglers are 150 apart, actually, so a nice small lead for I Will Dominate.
Literally, that steal is the duration of the entire swing. He got 80 gold, basically, for the large one that he took. So he denied high 80, gave him 80 himself. That's the 150 difference. And he's only going to extend that because he pushed high off into the base, knowing that his red side of the jungle is now exposed.
And the rest of the team doing just fine. We see an aggregate 400 gold lead for Team Liquid. Quas, another major part of this. The bot lane has gone equal, despite the attempted gank from high. All went well. The farm is basically the same. Adoration is gold waiting to be gained, so there's all kinds of fun numbers to deal with. High managed to kill off an aggressive pink ward. Good of him to get through that brush. Too often is that ward not swept in solo queue, so good of High to see that one, and all is well. Pink ward for himself, also going to get control over mid, but it is a flashless Gragas.
And Phoenix is pushed up very far. It's a level 6 Lulu, especially mid lane, that feels very ungankable for most, especially because even if you get damage, it's still flash and glitter lance and the extra 300 health that you can get from just the ultimate shield, not even counting the shield Lulu can put on herself, so it's not something High wants to miss whatsoever.
High really loves going on this bottom side of the jungle. He's like really trying to camp for bot lane. He's now twice in a row body slammed over for the Krugs and then snuck right in behind the Vayne and the Alistar. C9 really wants his lane to work. Adoration would be a ton of gold. There's the Q out special. Lemon actually goes forward on this one, gets stunned up, but here comes the chase. They slow him into the wall. They're gonna get the hit. No stun comes through. And Kadem actually makes Sneaky lose both his axes. Piglet drops Lemon at 200 HP.
Yeah, well, Summoners are still up for Sneaky, so they have heal, but I mean, it would just be so risky here. I think High's mainly trying to land a counter gank onto I Will Dominate.
C9 trying to over-aggress to pull him into the lane.
Yeah, a little bit. Like we talked about how Draven, while he is so aggressive, I mean, there's so much pressure he creates by stacking up Adoration and you wanting to kill him so he can't cash those things in, that you'd almost expect Dominate to come bottom for ganks.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even the positioning that High is going in there, especially since Draven is pushed up, the gank is a little bit nonsensical, and it hasn't worked out.
A bit of wasted time. That means the farm lead between the junglers has accelerated to almost 500 now as Dominate is just power farming, and headbutting walls or not is still getting a lot of his minions dead.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, power farming in Italy is typically how you win.
Yeah.
It's a very valid strategy to do in the early game. Like, yes, Nidalee has tremendous gank pressure as well, but really, if you can get to your Moonglaive faster than the opponent can get to their jungle upgrade, your sheer jungle power, you're just going to grow like a 1,000 gold lead naturally just out of your farming speed, especially when he's now the second time he's been able to successfully counter jungle High. He's only going to extend that lead greater. Yeah,
he's actually richer than any member of Cloud9 right now, so the power farming in Italy combined with a little bit of counter jungling definitely working well for him. All good things here. Gold lead actually 800 for Team Liquid just from the farm game this early game. The attempts from High, I know he's getting close, but it's just not enough here. And Sneaky, that was really aggressive. Takes Silver Bolts to the face, walks right back out. Alistar's here to defend.
Yeah, well, he's got his BF sword right now, so he wants to get aggressive. Obviously, with 2 spinning axes, any type of straight-up duel with Piglet, he will win as long as he doesn't get crowd controlled. So definitely playing aggressive, but he has no jungle backup because High is top.
Backup at the top side. A couple of stuns come through. Quas trying to get away. Flashes, and that means Explosive Cast will disengage him. Good summoner by Quas, all is well.
Yeah, really smart of Quas to wait until he saw the animation for the Gragas ultimate before the flash, basically guaranteeing that he would be knocked backwards, unless High pulled off some incredible prediction skills, which were not to be had. Brent's flash for an ultimate.
Not going to happen there. Bot lane matchup actually still basically equal. Small lead actually toward Piglet. Phoenix tries to pull the pink ward. He will do so against Incarnation. That's nice by him. Trades back and forth. Flash Pulverize comes in. They want Sneaky. He's onto the turret. Cannot quite land the Condemn onto the wall. But Sneaky is taking plenty of damage. Silverbolts will not get used. Here comes the teleports now. Flashes away from Special. And now Ball's in the front line, but he's got to be afraid of Quas. Quas does not have an ulti, though, so he's not that big of a threat. Ball's running out of mana. The ulti's going to stop for himself. Special with the Unbreakable Will survives, and no kills.
Yeah, Sneaky still has his ultimate, but not enough mana to use it. He would want to try and KS with that if he were to have a fight. I think it's very key that Quas didn't have an ultimate when he came in there. Otherwise, Cloud9 would have been completely done in that lane. Even so, the nice flash play by Xpecial just ends up being a trade of summoner spells. Both AD carries had to burn healing.
Yeah, they did. All right, but it's still Piglet with a flash and Sneaky with nothing. It's going to be so risky for him to play aggressively now in this lane. And with BF Sword Draven, that's exactly when you want to. So, yeah. Difficult things ahead maybe for Cloud9. 1,300 gold now, the lead for Team Liquid high. Gonna get found in that brush, it's 514. That trap reveals a lot of vision.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was the reduced trap vision on the current live patch, I think it would still be enough to see inside that brush. It would be iffy.
Close, it's close.
But even so, Dominator, well-experienced Nidalee jungler, knows that that is the place if he was going to get counter-ganked, smartly scouts it beforehand, and avoids any type of disaster.
We heard the analysts talk about Dominate's many possible styles that he could play in this game. Plays heavily for farm, that's paying off so far, as High has not made his impact in this game found just yet. Just playing the big tank, relying on this Draven, but the Draven's not hitting ahead. It's still a big stack of Adoration, of course, that can blow up at any time. 230 stacks right now, I believe, is the number.
Yep, that is the number of Adoration stacks. So meaning when he cashes in, he will be getting all of that and more in gold.
First blood would be close to 900 gold, I believe, for Draven, if my math is correct.
Is every Adoration... I'm a little...
I believe it's 2 per stack.
Yeah, every Adoration stack is
plus
2.
50 flat.
Yeah, so that's an extra 500 gold on top of what would be a first blood bonus. So a kill would net Sneaky about 900 gold at this point.
But here comes the dive. They want to deny this away from Sneaky. Red buff from Dominate takes a couple axes to the face. No one's around to stop him. It's just Elimination getting jumped. He's got nowhere to go. First blood to Phoenix. Xpecial holds the turret aggro. Perfectly played dive by Team Liquid.
Yeah, honestly, there is a little bit of ward coverage for Cloud9, but it was too little too late by the time the dive had arrived. Mainly it's because of the pink ward control and scuttle control that Dominate had in the river that allowed Phoenix to go down there pretty much undetected.
Yeah.
And really nice gank.
Best thing I could do is kind of rotate 2 members over. Jungler held mid laner came over. Okay, no turret dive for the second kill, but it still means more money comes over. 2,000 gold now puts Team Liquid ahead. Dominate gonna feel pretty good on this Runeglaive Nidalee. Wasp actually up 26 despite getting ganked by High. Also a great performance.
Yeah, Nautilus is really a monster in lane. One of the most underrated parts about having a top lane Nautilus is how beefy he gets. Strong wave clear, great trading. Quas had to itemize directly to Spectre's cow. So that's not a catalyst or righteous glory that will be coming in early.
There's a small chance it's locked for some reason because Kindle Gem. Like it's Kindle Gem or Visage is like that what that builds out of?
So it's actually very possible. Recently with Zeke's Harbinger being so strong in the 514 patch, and of course Owl Dominate's not able to build
the AP champion, yeah.
It's very likely that Quas builds the Locket as his first item. There it is. All right.
All right, yeah. Really, yeah.
Nice call, Freak.
Hey, you helped out. I think together that was a really solid stuff.
This would mean that most likely Xpecial will be going for a Harbinger first item on, first major item on Owl.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't think there's a need for Mikhail's here. There's like a small chance because of Maokai Braum, but it's very unlikely. Dominate managed to sweep away the wards that High's putting down. Xpecial does the same. Bot lane is pretty dark, actually. C9 has only 1 ward in that southern jungle. That's High elimination. Get rid of a couple things themselves. We go back to the holding pattern, 2,000 gold up.
Yeah, the other thing that I have to mention here is there's a big power spike for the team whenever someone completes an Aegis item.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the sheer volume of stats that you get from the Magic Resistor. And also, you get that the fastest possible way if your top laner builds it, even though it's so rare. Supports mean you get it really late, jungler faster.
Xpecial went for the headbutt, but they got pushed around. And there we go, it's not going to be a kill onto the Draven. He did not even have to flash. Yeah. Predicted the headbutt timing with the stand aside. Xpecial still queued up Pulverize and pulverized the ground.
Yeah, pretty sick move there by Sneaky. This was an example of him actually outplaying an enemy crowd control, which is something he wasn't doing in the first few series, so his plays improved throughout the weekend pretty substantially, even though the weekend is over and we're now on Monday.
He got even better on Sunday than Monday happened.
The interesting thing about that, though, is that that gank didn't cost Team Liquid anything. High does not have enough pressure on the map to punish that whatsoever.
The blue buff he could try to steal, but mid lane's in kind of a rough spot.
Yeah, I mean, Dominant doesn't necessarily care about that because if Team Liquid is going for a Locket on the Nautilus, it means they want to force Dragon.
Good flash by Phoenix. He didn't have to actually go for the game of chicken, just simply body slam range was enough to scare him away. Shock of him in an easy combo, so Team Liquid lose a flash thanks to High's play, but still these lanes are getting worse and worse. Piglet losing plenty of health, but he's got a Blade of the Ruin King. His lifesteal is actually fairly solid. Within about 2 waves, he'll be back to full.
Yep. Not to mention the Alistair sustain.
Exactly.
For both the heal and the relic shield.
Definitely true. So good luck with this one then, Piglet. Quas still battling with Quas. We just battling with balls. Not right himself. Gets his own red, and Cloud9 have just not found any inroads in this game.
No. However, High has really sped up his farming since he completed Cinderhulk. He's been trying to just keep up with I Will Dominate a little bit more. CS is definitely ballooned, even if his gold is still 500 behind. Jungle CS can be highly misleading just because of the value of different jungle creeps. It depends on your pathing.
Yeah, Scuttle and Gromp being worth way more than Raptors despite being 1/4 in CS.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're still seeing the poking back and forth, and actually there's just enough damage with this BF sword that he's poking down Xpecial and poking down Piglet by himself. Sneaky is getting headway. Dominate reveals himself on the bottom right of the map.
Yeah.
And near mid.
The main thing I will say, though, is Team Liquid has a substantial pressure advantage towards the Dragon area right now. Both pink wards in the mid lane side brush that Incarnation just tried to walk through, and deep wards from when I Will Dominate had the gank on Sneaky. He then warded that later. So basically when they did that, it gave them a 3-minute window in which you would want them to force Dragon. They have already prepped this play because of the wards and because of the itemization on Quas. So if they don't actually go for this at this moment, it is a missed power spike for Team Liquid, and they should be looking to capitalize that. They only have about a minute or two left while it's primed for those wards to have value.
They might be waiting for High to go back to the top side of the jungle. They saw him milling around over here. Both top laners have teleport, and power spike or not, it just might be hard facing a Dragon when the opponents know you're still around. C9 have got enough wards of their own to spot Dragon, so it can't even be stealthed up right here. We'll see what happens, though, in this. Piglet gets back up to full health after all. We're going to see what the next items come through as Xpecial actually upgrading to Targon's Brace here. We keep moving forward, and then the knockup comes through onto Balls. Dominate, though, misses, but oh no, it's still going to be a hunt is on, and that means Balls is likely to die for this one. Pops the ulti, still goes for the auto attack, but Dominate gets the kill. 1-0 on this Nidalee. Meanwhile, High shows up mid lane, forces Phoenix back. He won't die, but the turret might go down.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate miss there for I Will Dominate on the initial spear, but they still had Balls so dead to right side. I honestly feel like Balls was pushed up in lane only because he was so obviously expecting a Dragon press by Team Liquid. He got caught off guard, and Cloud9 was not in position to punish.
Well, be careful. Ulti's up for Piglet. Pops it. Bit of a trade goes back. Elimination able to keep this Draven alive. That pick definitely working quite well. Looks like that Braum really helping to keep the squishy backliner alive. He stacks up to 350 Adoration.
Yeah. Meaning it's a 750 gold just from the Adoration, plus a 300 kill gold if he gets a kill. 1,000 gold could be in the hands of Sneaky for 1 kill. Really, that's one of Cloud9's main ways to get back in this game, so to speak, is to have Sneaky get a kill before he dies. More important now than it's really ever been for an AD carry.
So both AD carries very rich, about 2,000 gold on each of them in their pockets, which means Bloodthirster and a Brutalizer is the prep with the build Sneaky could go for. Something really huge at the very least.
Yeah. Goes for an Infinity Edge, which is a little bit unlikely, but maybe
if you're allowed to get the spike. It's just
maybe they're expecting an earlier Zeke's Harbinger there for the Draven. But as of now, yeah, with teleport up and a turret dead in the top lane, Ball's actually kind of out of position, I would have to say. You'd have to teleport in
special, but no chance to stop this at all. Looks like the backliner were all gone. They're all away. Nothing that they could do here. Piglet stayed in the lane, pushed in, which means there was nowhere for Sneaky to go without losing his turret. Yeah. And all is well. More good plays by Team Liquid. Top lane outer did go down from the earlier gank, so it was a kill in addition to the turret trade. Dragon for nothing, 2,000 gold lead remains, and Team Liquid can feel very good.
Yeah, and really, Team Liquid has been playing this early game very, very cleanly. Nice stops of the ganks here, and now High's going for a brute force gank. If they get something, it's going to be
very low. Piglet's next! There's the passion! Plus 824 gold! Suddenly the lead has shrunk to 700, and C9 are back in.
Wow, the danger of playing against a Draven. Team Liquid had played clean, safe, smart play for the first 20 minutes of this game. High gets 1 gank bottom on Sneaky, who had been catching every axe for the first 20 minutes of the game. He gets about 1,000 gold. And look, we're dead even at 20 minutes for how much Team Liquid has been outplaying Cloud9.
Amazing things, but it puts even more of the weight on Sneaky, on this Raven. He's the man who holds the gold here. And it's just even more about him. He's got 3 tanks, and they're actually pretty damn good defensive tanks as well. Maokai to absorb, Braum to absorb, Gragas to disengage. Definitely things to watch out for. And now, Draven can probably out-damage the front line compared to what Vayne can do, despite her true damage.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun thing to watch for.
We'll see what he ends up going for in his build. I've seen Sneaky do Infinity Edge Ghostblade on Draven.
This might be Essence Reaver.
But he's done Essence Reaver before too. It could be. I'm expecting the Bloodthirster for the Overshield.
I think you're right.
Depending on just the size of the tank line for Team Liquid and how he wants to be durable. And then I'm also expecting. I'm hoping for a Zeke's Harbinger, although that Kickle Gem on Lemonation.
Face the mountain.
Glacial Shroud first, but
yeah, no, both the supports. I think it's actually very common for the non-thresh supports to really finish Face the Mountain. It feels like they really value the shield, and the Golden Cup does matter. In total item growth, eventually, like that is more gold generation, but it does delay the Zeke's itself, of course, by quite a bit. We're going to see the rest of C9, though, pushing up to the top lane. They all rotated over after the bot lane outer went down, and Wrecking Ball Draven is going to destroy this turret so incredibly fast. He's much quicker than this Vayne, who is solo pushing much more slowly, I might add. Cloud9 now holding a gold lead for the first time all game. Sneaky doing all the work. He's going to wave through top lane as well. Piglet, I believe, should not get this turret. Oh, it's close. Yeah, he can't yet. But the wave's coming, and no one's going to be back in time unless Piglet wants to risk staying, and he will.
Yeah, it's turned into a very close game right here. I mean, Piglet trying to farm up. Honestly, Vayne can still be incredibly powerful in these fights because of the Lulu support that will be backing him.
Yeah.
Especially since Phoenix has been farming very well in that lane. Against Incarnation has turned into a big farm lane. It's going to be really close.
Smart play by Piglet to stay in that lane and not be afraid, despite the fact that he has basically no wards there. Literally, like, no vision to watch if someone's coming. He's like, I have enough time to kill the turret and get out. He was right in that assessment. Equalized the turret score on those lanes. It's the advantage of mid lane right now that C9 has. 35,000, 35,000. Team Liquid back up in the tiniest of advantages as the next items come through. Phoenix is going to be going for Luden's Echo, so a more damage-focused Lulu build. The lightning triggering out.
Yeah. I like that Lulu build as well. I mean, I think there's pros and cons to both having the Death Cap or Luden's Echo on Lulu. Death Cap gives him more shielding, is more supportive for Piglet, but we talked about how they have
very little
tank top laner, very little damage, so he wants to be a little bit of a damage threat himself with Luden's Echo. Not to mention the 10% move speed, I think is the most underrated part of Luden's Echo. 10% is a lot, a ton of move speed.
It's like 380.
Especially on who's already a very fast champion.
Yeah,
there is diminishing returns on move speed above 490, but it's only a 50% diminish on that move speed, so in my opinion, it should not dissuade very fast champions from getting even faster because speed is one of the most valuable stats in the game.
Yeah, and also one thing to keep in mind to kind of push this point forward, the really important thing is speed differential, not raw speed itself.
Exactly.
And so 10% of your raw speed is like 100% speed differential, which is ridiculous. You close gaps twice as fast or build them twice as fast. And that's the thing to watch out for here. So Phoenix can help be another engage tool in a small way by hitting a Glitter Lance after whimsying someone. You can, of course, send Xpecial or Quas in to do the dirty work as well. But a slow kill game. It's been standard lanes. The ganks have been somewhat successful, but somewhat far between.
Yeah. Honestly, I will dominate here a lot of...
Oh, this is a bit risky. Oh, dear Lord! He wants Piglet! He won't land the crit, though. He got 1 out of 4 attacks. Dodges this. Piglet's still going to run away from this. Elimination's going to buy some time, but they want Xpecial in this one. Ulti's going to land. They will get the stun off on him.
I mean, they're just going to
drops 1 axe, picks him up, plus 204. All the kills are on Sneaky.
I think he got that 1 crit onto Piglet, and that prompted him to flash in just the small amount, 20% crit from the Infinity Edge. A lot of the crit from the IEP deal will Phantom Dancer build has moved to the Phantom Dancer, so a little bit of luck on Sneaky's side right there, but they capitalized off it hugely.
Yeah, 1 out of 4, but got the first one, giving him the confidence he needed, and that's going to be nice. You were right about Bloodthirster, by the way, Jat. That's going to be the overshield to help keep him really topped off. Though he's now running out of mana, so Essence Reaver could have been good.
Maybe it's next. You never know. Sneaky he's crazy.
I mean, it's like AP champions. Just buy a bunch of NLRs.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of the power of Draven. The second shot was a crit for 605. And then he tagged him with the first bit of the ultimate, which he kind of prompted him to come in. And also the collapse was faster from Cloud9 onto that. Also because they chunked it out so hard, they're able to secure the dragon. Really like Sneaky's game 1 performance on Draven here.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw this coming. And I know we were asking yesterday, and the analyst test as well, like, all right, C9, you showed 10 games, a bunch of different strategies. But, as Sneaky said, they practiced a lot of things. This might have been one of them. Incarnation now running away, forced to flash. Good play by Piglet to buy this for this team. And now mid lane under fire. Incarnation has to be very afraid of Phoenix and Dominate. Elimination will buy a little bit of time, but it's still pretty dangerous. Little Lance penetrates that Q. Nearly took that Incarnation from I Will Dominate as well. High went for a big play, but that's a bit of a risk. Pushed against the wall, 1 hit away from dead. Can't quite get him down.
Yeah, picks and Italy attack speed onto Vayne right now, so he himself is also a tremendous threat for Team Liquid. They're equalizing this game. Now a 4th turret of their own. This is an incredibly competitive game.
I'm so glad this series is very good. I was honestly not sure what to think of Cloud9 after all their very, very close games, but this is the first time they've actually looked good in game 1 of a series in quite a long time here.
Yeah. Yeah, the last game 1 of a best-of-5 they were victorious in.
The spring finals?
Yeah, wouldn't have been the spring finals against TSM where they won the first and then lost the next 3.
Their own form of reverse sweep. Just a smaller sweep in a way.
Looks like they might be prepping something here. High does have Flash on his Gragas, so... also, Cloud9 made a lot of very aggressive Baron calls.
Yeah.
And
oh, dear Lord, Special. He's 1 hit away from dead.
No ultimate.
No ulti. Oh, Sneaky's gonna get it. Thank you very much. Plus 146. Ulti comes across, and Piglet's dead. That's huge. Quas nowhere to go. He's the next casualty. A double for Sneaky. 4-0 and 0. Draven wouldn't have it any other way. An assist is a loss in his book. He's going in for the mid lane. Tier 2 is going to go down. There's still 20 seconds left.
Such high value picks there for Cloud9. They use the fact that they've been taking Baron early in sometimes incredibly risky fashions against Team Liquid, who's been watching them all weekend, and instead they set up the trap. This is a huge swing for Cloud9. They're going to get an inhibitor.
High's doing it all for this team. He got the ganks on for Sneaky. He made the call for Baron. High back with the team, took some time to gel and make it all work, but as this team warms up, they're getting better and better. Cloud9 sizably ahead now in game 1.
Yeah, it looked like Incarnation caught Piglet with the Shockwave too, which is pretty difficult to do against Vayne, who is so elusive with her tumbling. So nice play by Incarnation as well, who's just been farming up a Storm and finally gets his hand in a team fight. I will also say, for much of this season, there has been... well, I'm going to make that point later because Team Liquid is doing a counter Baron. They have a pink ward, and Balls showed in the other lane. Sneaky showed top. He wanted to clean a big wave. Cloud9, though, is trying to stop this. And they very well should teleport in to push them off.
And it's going to be the retreat now. Team Liquid, Special in the front lines. His ult is going to end before too terribly long, though, and that means C9 can go right back in. High gets the shield, push the team. Special's gone. Assist for Draven, unfortunate as it is, but Quas now the target of attention. High still in the front line. Big little ulti buys a bit more time, but it's not going to buy enough. Ball's still so tanky. Another pickup now for Sneaky, and it's TL routed, running away. A flash from Piglet. Will there be any more chasing to be had? It's a 3-for-0. They turn back to Baron.
Yeah, they're still relatively healthy. It's just a Lulu and a Vayne. This should be one that Cloud9 can pick up. However, Phoenix is looking to try and disrupt this one. I don't think that would be wise.
Not sure exactly what he can get. No flash. Incarnation going to zone that man out. Nothing Team Liquid can do. And Cloud9 knock down the inhibitor. They get Baron. They're up 8-2 in kills.
Yeah, and Sneaky has reached critical mass already in this game. He finishes his last Whisper and still has 1,300 gold to spare. But let's take another look at this one. This was a desperation play by Team Liquid. And honestly, as soon as the teleport came in, they should have gotten out of there right away. They knew how strong Cloud9 was, specifically that ultimate. Balls gets in, which means Team Liquid doesn't have a real escape, and watch how he Nautilus assaults Draven, but there is absolutely no follow-up. No one on Team Liquid is willing or able to dive through to the opponent AD carry, and we talked about this being big, brawly, tank-filled team fights. Well, as soon as one backline gets more powerful than the other and can clean the tanks easily, the game kind of gets decided when both teams have the same general goal of having a powerful AD carry who is supported. And obviously, because Sneaky has been able to cash in his Adoration stack so readily, he is the Omni carry right now.
The team fights are a gear check, and guess what? C9's got all purples. Heading down to the bot side here, and it's going to look like another turret in their sights. Incarnation joins up. No split push needed. Maokai just to be a frontliner, all they need. The other minion lines don't matter. I Will Dominate in the top side. He's got to get back at some point to defend what's going to be the shambles of his base.
Yeah, this turret's done.
Not even a chance.
Not even close.
50 seconds on Dragon. C9 will have that during the duration of Baron as though they need it. Turrets still die very fast to this crew. Dominate has recall, but not in time yet as the turret is taking a few hits before he's in range to do any damage. He's still respecting Alistar, though.
It's somewhat difficult to dive at Nautilus because if anyone gets locked in the turn, Nautilus can keep him there. But honestly, they're just so gun-shy of trying to initiate this one. They're kind of
dead. High goes in just to say, hey, get off my teammates. That's going to happen. Ulti comes across from Sneaky as well. A big pulverize hits a bunch. They push in Incarnation, who flashes away and is not caught. A big knockup from Braum. There's the shockwave. There's the first kill. There's a second one. It's a 30-minute win. Cloud9's killed everybody at this point. No one left to really stop them from pushing the base in. Sneaky goes for more. He stuns Piglet. He gets a triple kill. 8-0-3 on the Draven. He knows it's the league of himself. There's the Nexus, there's the game. Holy cow, Cloud9 taking down game 1.
Yeah, this match was the embodiment of a Draven player's dream. And for Sneaky, boy did he realize it. 14,400 gold in his pocket in only a 31-minute game. We'll do some math later, but I feel like that's a pretty tremendous amount of gold per minute. Close to the most we've seen in the LCS this split for sure.
Man. That was absolutely
It was so close up until the 19.5-minute mark where Team Liquid actually had a lead, but the instant that Sneaky got that Adoration cash-in on Draven, the whole team comp just came together because we knew it was going to be a very 80 carry focused game. Lulu Vayne with a bunch of tanks and an Italy versus a tank team with Orianna and a Draven. If the Draven falls behind, he's useless in that specific iteration of these team compositions. And because Sneaky was able to get that kill off of the one gank from High, Cloud9 just executed through the roof.
And that's really the cool thing about High is actually throughout these 11 games we've seen so far in this final run, we've seen him play many different styles. He's played a lot of big dumb tanks. He's played Devour, jungle. He played Kha'Zix for the resets, and he's played Elise. And he's played a different style in many of these games. He camped for mid when his team had a Zero to just, hey, if Incarnation gets off the ground, we win the game. Now he knew, hey, it's about the League of Draven, and he spent so much time bot lane. And to be fair, the first 3 ganks didn't work. But if the 4th one does, it makes up for all the farm Dominic got.
Yeah, and the 4th one's more valuable because he was
more
continuing to cash in the stacks.
It's true.
Good God, he was doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Like a lot of damage. What was the damage dealt graphic? Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's really high?
Yeah,
oh, dear Lord.
I'm looking at the graph right now. I'll tweet it after the game. 27,000 for Draven, which isn't that high in and of itself until you see the rest of the people in the game. Really, it was Sneaky doing all the damage.
Yeah, he was more than a third. He was double what Incarnation had done. Really far ahead of the Vayne as well. Just absolutely a very massive game. So grass to C9. The Draven comp was beautiful. It worked out. Go 80 carries. And now our hopes of reverse sweeps in Cloud9's favor is dead.
The reverse sweep can always happen.
You never know. We're going to see what happens. Let's go over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast. And what a Draven play in the bot lane coming out of Sneaky. I guess we put the Ashe to the wayside for a game. We pull out the Draven. Even with, as we were watching, High's kind of routes in the beginning not work for the team, it still added the pressure that was needed in bot lane.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you pick a Draven, everybody's well aware you want to snowball this Draven and you want to get him some kills. High did spend a lot of time down there, unsuccessful with the ganks. But he ensured that their bottom lane didn't really get a lot of pressure from Dominate, so Sneaky was able to stack up the passive. But it kind of went as we expected, right? The lanes just normally won for Team Liquid. Quas in the top lane was smashing Maokai. Bottom lane as well was a little bit of CS ahead. Incarnation actually performed pretty well for Cloud9, but in general, Team Liquid with the early game advantage just through laning.
Irene, you were caught off by how early they picked Vayne in general in that picks and bans.
Yeah, the Vayne lock-in was actually rather early there, and it gave them the opportunity on Cloud9's side to just pick the Draven into it, because Draven does extraordinarily well against Vayne.
To be fair, we haven't seen Draven in a long time, and everyone's like, oh, you know what? They're nerfing all the champions that were good into Vayne. A lot of people are getting a little too confident. Sneaky keeps them in line.
Yeah, it was just a really good out of left field, because you weren't expecting this to come out, but Sneaky's had it up his sleeve for a very long time, and he loves running it into it, and you saw the attention they put there. And even though High didn't always gank bottom, when he ganked top and he got Quas's flash and his ultimate, when Quas went down to TP, that stopped the stacks from falling off on Sneaky, right? He wasn't able to completely get that TP play off, and then he protected him. So what High ended up doing in the top lane ended up affecting the bottom lane drastically. And then when he got that gank off that resulted in about 1,100 gold for Draven, at that point, when I'm in solo queue and I'm playing that game, I'm like, this is the worst game of my life, because Draven's just going to absolutely take over, especially since the threat composition, there's no threat from your solo lanes on this TL squad. It's all Vayne, and a little bit of Nidalee. Lulu will eventually get there a tiny bit. If you're shutting down the Vayne, though, with the Straven, and you're just auto-attack trading her and out-trading her, it's pretty much impossible to actually win that game. You'd have to have Vayne be untouched forever.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, when the other team has the Nidalee is often going to get a gold lead on your jungler. You have a Maokai and a Gragas. You have hard engage. You have good things for rooting her up. So Hai, his main goal, his only goal was to ensure that Sneaky got to cash in, and he did it.
That was a great thing to just be like, this is our win condition. We are playing to it. And he was really stubborn, too. There were like 4 gank spots. He sacrificed levels in farm just to even look bottom over and over again.
Man, it could have gone cleaner, but...
Yeah.
It's not something they focused on throughout the season either. This is kind of something they're transitioning into, more carry to the bot lane, and Team Liquid's trying to do it as well. We saw the Vayne coming out from Piglet. We also saw Twitch in previous games as well when he faced off against Team Solo Mid. So they're trying to use him. But now my question is, how much pressure is on Team Liquid? Obviously, the 0-2 would have been kind of a mental game for them.
Yeah,
but
all the pressure's gone now. No reverse sweep for Cloud9.
Is it, though? Because look at that comp they had. Vayne, Nidalee, Nautilus, Alistar. You kind of got a great comp all around, and you weren't able to close out the game or get yourself a foothold.
Yeah, they do like Lulu compositions that focus around Piglet. They've been known to run them in the past. Usually, Quas gets the Lulu, and that's how they succeed with a double threat from Phoenix in the mid. But this was a different adaptation, and I do believe the pressure is definitely on them because they do have to shake off some rust. As strange as it sounds, we talk about fatigue in best of 5s, but playing 2 best of 5s back-to-back in Cloud9 style in the way that they did, they're actually fresh for this. Imagine if they hadn't have gotten bodied by TIP yesterday in the bot lane twice, would they have not played a bot lane centric strategy? Would they have still been playing different types of roaming strategies with Hai?
Exactly. Cloud9 have been practicing this entire time.
Live practice.
Yes, they've been practicing in front of everyone, and you get to see it, but you know it's a lot of time spent up on that stage, and it has paid off. When the underdog team gets the first win in the best of 5, then it really changes the whole mentality of Team Liquid coming into this. You know, coming in as the favorite. Now they're the ones who have to react, and they have to, well, not early pick the Vayne.
Yeah, don't ban Karma. I think that is a terrible ban from Team Liquid.
Well,
why are they banning Karma?
Like, I was sitting here on the desk when that happened, and Zyrene goes, what?
Yeah.
Like graphical error?
Oh,
There were things that Team Liquid did well, though.
As Piglet, that's almost like a Piglet. I don't want to get poked out, guys. Give me a safer lane.
Well, then he goes up against the Draven.
Exactly.
And then Xpecial has to put so many points into his E to keep him sustained.
Sometimes you ban away what your opponent's just favorite champions are, what they play the most, what they feel the most comfortable on. In this case, probably not the best to force limit onto Braum, which is...
forced onto Braum.
Yeah, exactly. But there are some good things for Team Liquid. I mean, they had the good early game. They had the good laning phase. Dominate was able to get a huge lead from jungle CSing. Liked what they did, even though they didn't give Quas the Lulu. He did take up the locket building duties.
The path,
I guess we'll call them. And because they have a Nidalee jungle, you know, he's not going to be able to build them. You don't want to have to wait for the support to do it. So they had early game planning kind of figured out until Draven cashes in.
It looks good. Small things to change, but Cloud9 have grabbed the first win of the best of 5. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going in Game 2 against Team Liquid. The North American Regional Qualifier continues after this.
It's so impossible to get 3 axes to actually do something. Draven? Yeah.
Like impossible for you or impossible for like a good player?
Oh, Sneaky's gonna get it. Thank you very much. Plus 146. Ulti comes across, and Piglet's dead. That's huge. Quas nowhere to go.
Keep Nautilus in the pit. Keep Nautilus in the pit and kite back. Keep Nautilus in the pit. Kill him. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Nit. Go. Vayne. Lulu. Vayne.
There's a second one. It's a 30-minute win. Cloud9's killed everybody at this point. No one left to really stop them from pushing the base in. Holy cow, Cloud9 taking down Game 1.